Hi, I'm Erik Voss, and we here at New Rockstars talk a lot about what we love about superhero movies, but some of the most memorable superhero movie moments were the ones that made us totally cringe. So we asked all of you guys what your top cringe superhero movie moments were, and the results are in. Starting with number 15, Bane's awkward conversation with the CIA agent in The Dark Knight Rises. And even though I mostly like Tom Hardy's Bane as a villain, I will admit his voice is a little goofy.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
And it definitely took some getting used to during that opening airplane sequence with this CIA agent played by Littlefinger.
If I pull that off, will you die?
It would be extremely painful.
You're a big guy.
For you.
So this exchange has become kind of an obscure meme in some niche corners of the internet. Basically, when you take their lines out of context, there's kind of a subtle sexual connotation.
You're a big guy. For you.
Now, I want to quickly thank War Robots for sponsoring this video. War Robots is a mobile app multiplayer game where you play as these awesome looking robots that fight each other in the near future. It's not just a game. I'm you from the future, where War Robots is real. My name is Commander Cupcake. Well, as a game, War Robots is pretty cool. Check it out. You get teamed up in a group of 6 to fight another group of 6 with random players from 50 million people all over the world. Try to capture these beacons and destroy each other. There's a variety of abilities and locations, and when I play it on my phone, it's just so much fun, and the graphics look amazingly vivid. You think that looks vivid? Wait till you're on a post-apocalyptic hellscape holding Lieutenant Twinkie after his robotic exoskeleton was blown to bits by an ET spiral. Yeah, cool. Just click on the link below in the description and you'll receive an exclusive bonus for New Rockstars fans, 100 gold, 100,000 silver, and 2 Punisher firearms. No, just don't give them more weapons! The destruction, the inhumanity! Okay, you don't look that much older than me. What year in the future are you from? The year 2019. 20 months from now. It's gonna be a crazy couple years. Commander Cupcake out! That was a lot of blood on his shirt. Anyway, War Robots, get on it. Back to the video. Okay, moving on to number 14, another debatable mention that might make you mad at me. Also, it's another kind of sexy moment involving a big guy. Black Widow's weird palm stroke, hand job? Palm stroke to Hulk in Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, I also really enjoyed Age of Ultron, but like The Dark Knight Rises, it's a sequel that struggled to live up to its nearly perfect predecessor. And one thing I kind of struggled with in the movie was the random romantic subplot between Black Widow and Hulk. Like, it just kind of comes out of nowhere. And it all starts in this opening battle with Black Widow somehow knowing how to tame Hulk by running her hand across his palm. Now, I have no idea how they ever could have practiced this without Black Widow just getting like Loki'd around. I guess at the time I just figured this meant Black Widow is somehow a Hulk whisperer. Next up on our countdown, number 13, Superman returns and proves that he feels nothing. So Bryan Singer's version of Superman in 2006 elevated the character into a god figure, also kind of an action figure. Brandon Routh looked like a young Christopher Reeve, but he lacked some of that relatable Clark Kent charm. And to me, the cringiest example of this is the rooftop fight when a criminal fires a gun at Superman's face, creating this epic slow motion bullet collision with his eyeball, which looks very cool, except come on, Superman, you don't even blink? Like, even if someone puts their finger near your eye as a joke, you'd still flinch a little bit. This makes Superman look like a statue or a frozen corpse. Like, you could imagine him thinking, okay, here comes the bullet. Don't move. This will look so awesome. Now, I should say that a moment that makes us cringe doesn't necessarily mean that all these movies are bad. I actually really like a lot of the movies on this list, including another Superman movie, which has our number 12 cringe moment from Richard Donner's Superman 2. Superman throws the S. Now, just to be clear, this is never one of Superman's powers, and no one has any idea where this came from. It's actually rumored that it wasn't Richard Donner who even put this in the movie, but that this was a campy Batman TV show style slapstick gag added by Donner's replacement director, Richard Lester. Okay, moving on to number 11, and sorry, Hulk fans, but there's another Hulk cringe moment that I just have to include. But don't worry, it's from the pre-MCU Eric Bana version of Hulk. Now, I really wanted to talk about Nick Nolte's weird overacting, but it's this moment that freaks me out. Like, why do we have to see the balls, Ang Lee? And it's not like this was meant to be a hell yeah moment. It just kind of happens and then gets brushed off. It's just very uncomfortable. Okay, next up, number 10, Electro using Spider-Man to play the ITSY-BITSY spider. Now, there were a few moments that took me out of Andrew Garfield's second Spider-Man movie, like Dane DeHaan's gross, insane Green Goblin. But the dumbest moment was when Electro smacks Spider-Man against the electric grid columns, and somehow the tones produce the melody of the ITSY-BITSY spider.
I hate this song!
Yeah, I hate this too. So did Electro set this all up hours in advance, tuning each of these columns so that they'd play the right notes? Moving on to number 9, the Fantastic Four. Now, a lot of you guys voted Reed Richards' stupid dancing in the 2005 Fantastic Four as an honorable mention, but to make this list, you gotta do a lot worse than that. Like the recent version of the Fantastic Four. It is in many ways the worst superhero movie to come out in recent years. New Rockstars actually did a full breakdown of it and all the problems with the movie and how to fix them. Hey, look, it's Gabe. Remember Gabe? No, I didn't have him kidnapped so I could start hosting videos for this channel. Anyway, there are a lot of cringe moments in this movie, but to me, the standout example is the way the movie retconned the Thing's catchphrase, "It's clobbering time." A scene shows Ben Grimm as a kid getting abused by his older brother.
Hey, clobbering time.
No, "it's clobbering time" is not a phrase you can say with a straight face when you're about to angrily take a swing at your little brother. It's just really weird for Grimm to later embrace this painful memory and turn it into a silly catchphrase. Okay, moving on to number 8. Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie as a whole is just a cringy mess that we'd all like to forget, even if Ryan Reynolds will never forget.
And please don't make the super suit green. Or animated.
But if you're somehow willing to look back at this movie, it's kind of fun to see Ryan Reynolds phoning it in this role, considering what he ended up doing with Deadpool later on. What's harder to watch is a talented dramatic actor like Peter Sarsgaard giving it his all as the villain, Hector Hammond. Unfortunately, Hammond just comes off as over the top, screaming himself hoarse in pretty much every scene. Nope, that'll do, Pete. No one is gonna remember this. Okay, moving on to number 7. Halle Berry as Storm in X-Men.
Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
Now, when I saw this in the movie, it kind of bummed me out. Because in the script, this line is a funny misdirect. What happens when a toad gets struck by lightning? Same thing that happens to anything else. But Halle Berry has to read it as edgy and cool. Same thing that happens to anything else. And it just kind of sucks the humor out of it. Now, we shouldn't blame Halle Berry too much. This was in the early days of superhero movies, and all the actors in this movie are really playing things too seriously. At least Berry wasn't nearly as overdramatic as Storm was in the animated series.
Storm, mistress of the elements, commands you to release that child. Lighten up on the speeches, sugar.
Okay, next up, number 6, a movie that produces no debate at all, Suicide Squad. Now, I know opinions are still pretty mixed on this movie somehow. I had a lot of issues with it, but even as early as the first teaser, this moment really bothered me.
We're the Patsies. We're some kind of Suicide Squad.
Come on, Will Smith, do you have to say the title of the movie in the movie? Or is there something in every contract that you sign that says you have to have a line that proves you're cooler than the rest of the movie?
That's what I call a close encounter.
I make this look good.
Tell the truth.
You know, I don't know if that last one applies. Okay, here we are, top 5. We're getting to some really cringy ones here, so I don't know, find something to bite down on. Number 5, the Daredevil scene we'll never forget. Oh, no, we like that Daredevil. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, like many others I've mentioned, this movie as a whole wasn't that great. But of course, to be fair, it was pre-MCU Marvel, and superhero movies just didn't really know better in general back then. But still, that is no excuse for this weird, flirty fight scene with Matt Murdock aggressively pushing for a date with Elektra on a children's playground.
Why don't you tell me what you do like, and we'll start there, okay?
So are we supposed to find Jennifer Garner beating the crap out of a blind guy on a seesaw while a bunch of kids cheer her on sexy? I really don't know what's going on here. After like Daredevil, you got cringed. I should have been saying that all along. Next up, number 4 is pretty much the same scene, but somehow way worse. The basketball scene in Catwoman. Now, yes, the whole movie of Catwoman is just god awful. It's literally hard to look at. The camera cuts from shot to shot so fast, making every scene super disorienting. But the worst example of this is the basketball scene. And warning, you might get sick watching this. Now, in case you are curious, someone counted 137 cuts in 1 minute and 43 seconds. It's less than 1 shot per second. But yeah, even looking past that, the stunts and the acting and all the weird sexuality. Look at my butt. Yeah, look at my abs. And instead of playing real basketball, I'm just gonna hump you from behind in front of a bunch of little kids. Why are kids always cheering in the background? Sorry. It's not worth getting angry. Okay, moving on to number 3. Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice was one of the most top voted entries. And for good reason. The movie makes a lot of weird decisions. There was Superman surrounded by dead people in a fiery Capitol building looking merely mildly annoyed. Jesse Eisenberg in general, specifically the goofy Jolly Rancher scene. And who could forget Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman revealing the Justice League, one of the biggest superhero teams in all of comic book history, via email attachment. But of course, the big cringe came when Batman decided to not kill Superman because their moms had the same first name.
Save Martha! Why did you say that name? Why did you say that name?
Okay, now this scene just didn't work the way Zack Snyder probably expected it to. I suppose if you read into it, there is some interesting logic in Batman finally seeing Superman's humanity by realizing that he has a mother that he's afraid to lose. Just like Bruce lost his mother. That idea could work, but making just the name Martha carry all that weight is just a shortcut that doesn't make sense. So let's move on to number 2, one of the biggest superhero movie cringes ever. In fact, it is 2 hours and 5 minutes long because it's the entire movie of Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin was so bad that the director, Joel Schumacher, recently apologized for making it. Every element in this movie has become a subject of scorn and ridicule and an example of what not to do for every superhero movie that came after it. There are the cringy puns from Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze, the uncomfortable suit-up sequences that zoom in on butts and junk and nipples. And when you think about it, the very creepy implication that Alfred designed a super sexy, form-fitting suit for his niece. But my personal favorite is Poison Ivy doing a sexy dance inside a gorilla costume. What the hell is going on? So when all of these guys are staring up at her, transfixed by Poison Ivy's pheromones, are they just thinking, damn, I guess I have a thing for monkeys? But yes, the biggest Batman and Robin cringe moment that you guys voted comes later in this awful scene when Batman and Robin get in a bidding war for Poison Ivy, ending with this ridiculous gag.
5 million.
That's a utility belt, not a money belt. 6 million.
7 million. Never leave the cave without it.
Now, before I get to our number 1, quick honorable mention that a lot of you guys cringed at X-Men Origins. Specifically, moments like Wolverine getting shot in the head with an adamantium bullet to wipe his memory, which is not at all how that works. And of course, the X-Men Origins version of Deadpool, the merc with the mouth getting his mouth sealed shut for some reason. Now, really, I didn't include these on the list because they were less cringe moments than I think they were just purely bad, confusing storytelling. So here we go. Let's get to it. it. Number 1, how could it be anything else, guys? Emo Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3. Oh boy. Now, for some reason, in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, when the Venom symbiote attaches itself to Spider-Man, it doesn't just give him an awesome black suit that we saw in the posters, it also makes him a pervy douchebag. Finger guns, air humping, an all-black suit and emo haircut, 2 dance sequences, and random amazing piano skills. What? Now, I would understand if this behavior was presented as Peter Parker's sad, warped idea of cool. And yeah, some women do roll their eyes at Peter, and he pisses off Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy, and the jazz club owner tries to throw him out. But that only comes after his antics kind of win over everyone for a second. How did any of these people at any point think this guy was cool? And what kind of New York jazz band would let this little My Chemical Romance anywhere near the stage? Just thank God Sony plans to redo Venom with a new, darker R-rated movie. I feel like that's the only way they can right this wrong and get this awful taste out of our mouths. I actually made another video that explains why Sony's Venom and Carnage movie might be the perfect version of the characters that we need, so definitely go check out that video. What are your biggest cringe moments from superhero movies? How would you rank these, and did I miss any? Also, do you think I was too hard on any of these movies? I really want to hear from you, so let's do a giveaway, a digital gift card with a 3-month subscription to Verve, which is like Netflix for nerds. It's awesome. All you have to do is follow New Rockstars on Twitter and then post a tweet sharing this video with the hashtag #SuperCringe. And we will pick 5 winners. So get on this. Share this video, like it, subscribe to New Rockstars for all kinds of in-depth videos about these superhero movies. And if you really like our videos and want to be a bigger part of what we do here, you can contribute to us on Patreon at a monthly rate that you decide. Big thanks to all of our current donors, especially Matthew Salvas. Hit me up on Twitter at EA Voss or New Rockstars on Twitter at New Rockstars to get info on the giveaway. All right, thanks for watching. Dude, what are you doing back here? Wanna hang out and play Robot Wars? No, they are cringing at this bit right now. It's so stupid. They don't even like one of me that much.